Close Look is brought to you by Applewood Kia. Two locations in Surrey and Langley. Applewood Kia.
Brighton College.
Park Avenue West. In Surrey, parkavenueliving.ca.
Sat Sri Akal. My name is Amarjit Singh Lalli, and I've lived in Kelowna since 1975. My dad came to this beautiful valley in 1971. In 1975, my mum and my two sisters, we immigrated to Kelowna. I was 6 years old at the time. My dad worked as a laborer in a nursery, and he passed away the day I graduated, and I was responsible for looking after my mum, my two sisters, and we also had a 5-year-old baby brother, and worked full-time while going to school. Got a diploma in business administration in 1989. And after that, worked a few jobs. I worked in the lumber industry. I also worked in retail, and always had my heart set in getting into some type of business. And then in 1997, I got married, and my wife and I, a few years later, we bought a Subway franchise, and since then we opened up a second store, and I've also have a apple orchard, and I also run a taxi for Kelowna Cabs. It's a wheelchair van. Giving back to the community is very important, and as over course of time, I've sat on the BCFGA board as a director for about 4 years. Also got involved with the Okanagan Sikh Temple and Cultural Society. I was on the Gurdwara committee 16 out of the last 20 years. I also sit as a director on the SIR board for the sterile insect release program, and I also sit as a director on Summerland Varieties. It's a breeding, apple breeding program that develops new varieties and commercializes them. And I also sit on the Spiritual Care Advisory Committee at Kelowna General Hospital. You know, I've got a great family structure. My wife I'm nothing without her. She is. She manages the restaurants. I look after the paperwork end of it. I look after the farm, but it's a team effort, and it's one of those things where time is very important, and you have to manage it. I think the key here is relationships, and business is all about relationships. Right from day one, when you're born, life is about relationships. So, first relationship that you're going to have is with your family, with your mom, your brothers and your sisters and your father. And then, as you go out, then it's going to be the relationships with your teachers, your friends. And then when you get into business, it's the relationship between your suppliers, it's a relationship with the customer. And as long as you are always truthful with those relationships, you will always succeed. In the last few years, I've really tried to change who I am and what I am, and I've been following the faith, the teachings of our gurus, and it's really come a long way. And as you see, I'm wearing a turban today. It's something that, in the last couple of years that I've decided to do, that this is the path that I want to lead. The teachings that our gurus gave, there is so much knowledge, so much wisdom in there. And basically, that's the life that they're trying to teach you, is that you have to have a balance in life. It's not about money. It's about the happiness. And money, no amount of money can ever buy happiness. Being truthful, having those good, strong relationships, that's what it's all about. As I stated earlier, my father passed away the day I graduated, June 24th, 1987. And it was quite a shock to my family. It was a farming accident. And actually, at that point in my life, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But the one thing is I have always had faith in my religion, and whatever God does, He does. And if you learn to deal with the situations, you become stronger as an individual. And now when I think back to those days, and I look at the way I was being brought up to that point in my life, I started working at a very young age. I was 7, going into grade 7, the year that I started working during the summers. I was always told by my parents, Kelowna at that time was quite a small town. There's only 20 families that lived here, and there weren't that many kids. A lot of racism that was going on, and we didn't know the language at the time. And what ended up happening was I had a few friends, and they were all younger than me. I was always the oldest, and that's one of the things my parents always told me is, you're the oldest, be responsible. And that was the upbringing that I got. And when it came to when Dad passed away, all those things, that the hard work that he taught me, all those lessons in life about your word is everything, never disrespecting people, it's all that teaching and all that knowledge that they gave me got me to the point where I am today. I know when my wife and I bought the orchard, and as soon as we bought the orchard, then my wife was working at the Subway franchise that we ended up buying, and the gentleman came to us out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, I'm looking at selling. Do you guys want to buy it?" And I looked around, my wife and my mom, and we didn't have much money because we had just bought the property. So, I went to my relatives. I went to my bua, I went to my uncles. I said, you know what? I didn't tell them what it was for. I just said, I need $100,000 and I'll pay you back with interest. And, when I look back, and it's those relationships that I had built up, that the way my parents told me over the course of life, that, not many people would just lend you that much money, and especially at that age. And so they gave me the money. My sister gave me, I think, $50,000 or $60,000. And I returned all the money and thanked everybody and paid interest and everything else. But when you have a strong core family, it goes a long way, and the way you treat those people, it's amazing what the relationship, having that truthful relationship, how far it takes you in life. My wife and I have 2 kids. My son is 16 and my daughter is 13. My wife and I talk about this all the time, and this path that we're walking on right now, we're both doing it together. Actually, she's fluent in Punjabi and I'm not, and she can read and write, and so she's actually further ahead than I am. She's one of the smartest ladies, the nicest people you'll ever meet. And we talk about this all the time, is what do we want our kids to be? And if typical Indian response is I want my kid to be a doctor or a lawyer. And we've looked at our kids and we said, the most important thing, what we want you to be, is good people. And if you're a good person, everything else will follow. And it's one of those things that you just can't force people. We've turned society into people being money-making machines, and what's ended up happening is that we've lost our core values along the way. You see it, what's happening in the Punjab with the drug issues there. You see it in Vancouver, parents working night and day, and nobody's minding the kids. And the kids have gone out and they picked out values that are not Sikh values, they're not Sikhi values, and it's basically eating away at society. As I stated before, having a balance in life is really important. Religion plays a really important part, having core values. People coming in to this beautiful city, Kelowna. Kelowna is the most beautiful place to live in the world. It's God's country. We've got the perfect weather, we've got the environment, we've got golf, we've got skiing, we've got the forcing, we've got everything here. And I was just very fortunate that the circumstances in my life left me that I didn't get a chance to leave Kelowna. I had a lot of people that graduated with me that left Kelowna for bigger cities, thinking that the peace and happiness is going to be out there, but in actual reality, peace and the tranquility was right here at home. And I was very fortunate that I've been able to do stuff with my life and build a little miniature just build something for myself and hopefully for my kids. But the balance goes in, I work out 3 hours a day sometimes, and my wife says I work out in the gym too much, but it's a balance. I had back surgery about 6 years ago, and I went to the doctor. It took me about 1.5 years or 2 years, I think, to get in to see the specialist before they did the surgery. And what ended up happening is over the course of time, I put on some weight, and I didn't realize the weight that I had put on, because it was all over. It was, my stomach was hanging out, but it was just all over. And then when I went to the surgeon after the surgery, and he looked at me and says, if you want a healthy life and you don't want any problems, you should work out. And I looked at him, and then I looked at myself in the mirror, and I thought, holy cow, I didn't realize I'd put on weight. And then I thought to myself, how am I going to lose this weight? And that's when I looked at the religion. In the Barney, the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, it says Manjit Jagdeep, meaning conquer your mind, conquer your desires, conquer your mind, and conquer the world. And I thought, I'm going to use this one phrase, and I'm going to change my life. And I lost 50 pounds in 1 month. And And then I thought to myself, if this one line in the Gurbani has this much power, just imagine what the 1430 pages where I could be in life if I actually followed what the teachings were in the Gurbani. And ever since, my wife and I have both started walking down that path. And in the near future, I hope to be baptized. And but the one thing I just want to tell people out there is you see all these problems out in the world where you have groups like ISIS and all this. It's very easy to put on a uniform, but you have to have the discipline before you put on the uniform. So if you look at the RCMP, you can put on a uniform, but that doesn't make you an RCMP officer. And wearing religious gear is the exact same way. You have to know what it's about. You have to know what the teachings are. You have to know right from wrong. And that after you follow it truthfully, that's when you go out and you become, you put on that uniform. And what's happening is people are putting on the uniform, but they don't have the discipline. And then what ends up happening is they join these groups, and in the name of God, it basically gives, it doesn't matter what religion is, whether it's Christian, Jewish, Muslim, it just gives religion a bad name. And so I just want to encourage everybody, you have to get back to faith. If you want to move into a beautiful place like Kelowna, it's one of the best places to live in the world. Remember relationships, remember patience, and it's timing. Business is all about these three things. Building those strong relationships, it's about timing, and it's about being patient. I graduated in 1987. I put myself through college while supporting my family, and then I worked full time. I used to work 14, sometimes 16 hours a day, and trying to get enough money so I could do something with myself. There was, I remember in the fall, the days are smaller and shorter, and I worked overtime 2 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening. I didn't see the sun for 1 month. And then one day I walked out and I looked outside and I said, there's got to be more to life than this. And, and that's when I started saying, you have to have a balance. Sure, money is something, but it's not everything. I just want to thank Desi Close Looks for coming out to the valley here. Sure, it's easy enough to overlook the province of British Columbia. It's a beautiful place. We have lots of people, lots of success stories in Vancouver, people immigrating to this country and becoming something. And but those stories are not just isolated to Vancouver. Those stories are brought out throughout society. It doesn't matter what corner you are. I think in Sikhism, the one thing that the Gurus instilled on you, that if you work, that you will not go hungry. And that motto I think we take to heart, and sometimes we overdo it. But it's very important. Work is important. The balanced life is important. But you also got to get back to the community. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, I'm standing with Simran and Shristi. How's the evening going so far?
So far, so good. Yeah. What
about yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Enjoying the music.
What brings you out? How'd you hear about this event tonight?
It was from one of my friends. He told me there's a Bollywood night, and he's like, "Come out, check it out."
Cool. So I hear that you are Canada's Bollywood star. You won this award recently. Tell us a little bit about that. I'm pretty intrigued.
Well, it was a reality/documentary series that Omni held along with Rogers, and it was a talent hunt with 4 episodes that series on Omni TV, and yeah, I just ended up winning it. So
that's huge. That's huge. What made you even think about getting into that?
The love for Bollywood and Bollywood dance. I think that's pretty much obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. So you won. Great. What have they offered you now?
I can't really say much, but I'm entitled to a role in a movie. So everybody keep your fingers crossed. Something's going to be coming up soon.
And the names of the high-end actors that you'll be working with?
I honestly don't know. I hope it's Ranbir Kapoor, Amitabh Bachchan, Ranveer Singh, but Deepika Padukone, why not? Kajol, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan. Hey, I can name the whole...
Everybody.
Pretty much.
And how did you hear about this event tonight?
Well, I'm also going to be in a movie.
Were you also on the reality show? Or how?
No, I'm going to direct this movie and I'm going to star in it and write it. But no, I've been to like 5 of these Bombay Bliss events actually, like over the past couple of years. I guess it's just kind of a thing that the Desi community gets together and does, and it's really cool. The music is great, obviously. It's nice to have Bollywood for a change, and it's nice to come out.
It's a nice little change getting the community together, and it seems like a very safe environment compared to just going to some other club on Granville Street or something.
For sure, I completely agree. You don't see a lot of Indian people get together and, hey, there are no fights. Everybody's having a good time. That's always a plus. So far, I don't think there's going to be anything, but everybody's having a good time. The music is great. I would hope for a little more Bollywood, because I love Bollywood music. But so far, so good. I'm still waiting for more, yeah.
So, are you guys in school right now and you're pursuing this on the side? I mean, are you in directing school or something?
Okay, that was completely a lie. I am not in any movie. I'm just a student. I just go to school. It's pretty boring.
What are you studying?
I'm studying political science.
Yeah. Awesome, right on. What do you plan on doing with that in the future?
Getting a job at some point would be great.
Be good, a little bit of income, a little bit of money to survive.
Yeah, that I can come to events like this. I'm hoping to do journalism, but let's see how it works.
Cool.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Well, I've done my communications degree from SFU. I also have a certificate in PR. Currently, I'm working for ICBC, so I'm doing pretty well, I would say, yeah. And obviously, my Bollywood career is just about to kick off, so, yep.
Yeah, really exciting. So have you, what are some positive words that you can provide our viewers there to let them know for them to reach for their stars?
Basically, if you have dreams of stardom, look at Simran Sidhu because she is the perfect example of someone who, who is just like, she's a regular girl living in Surrey and she's going to be in a movie. So if she can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And yourself, something positive to say to them. I'm sure you've experienced some shortcomings and challenges on your road to get where you are right now. How have you kind of accepted them and moved forward?
Honestly, obviously, there are a lot of shortcomings that you experience. You look at the industry, there's so much that they throw at you. And even during the competition, there was a lot that they threw at us. You just have to take it in. You just have to take it. You have to accept it. You have to get back up and you have to move on. And if this is really something that you want, you just have to go for it. Yeah, exactly like what Shishti said. Simple girl from Surrey, Bollywood star now. Yeah.
Awesome. Well said. So shall we go back inside and party?
Of course, yeah.
Do some
Definitely. I want some Bollywood, man. Some Bollywood.
Cool.
Thank you. Awesome. Hi, I'm Simran Sidhu, Canada's Bollywood star, and you're watching Close Look.
Hi, I'm Shrishti, and you're watching Close Look.
ਹੋ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸੈੱਟ ਹੋਣੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੈਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਲੋਣੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਹੋ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਸੈੱਟ ਹੋਣੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੈਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਖਲੋਣੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਫਕਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਦੇ ਬਹੁਤੀ ਆਸ ਹੀ ਨਾ ਰੱਖੀ ਪਰ 2-3 ਆਸਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਰੱਖੀਆਂ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਕੁੜੀ ਪੱਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਜੇ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਪਕਾਵੇ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਪੱਕੀਆਂ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਕੁੜੀ ਪੱਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਜੇ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਪਕਾਵੇ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਪੱਕੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਸੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੂਹੇ ਬੁੱਲਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਤਰਦੀ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਸੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੂਹੇ ਬੁੱਲਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਤਰਦੀ ਮਾਸੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਅੱਕ ਚੱਪਣਾ ਪਿਆ ਟੋਨ ਪਰ ਅਜੇ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵਰਗੀ ਤਾਈਓ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਸੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਵੀਰਿਓ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਮਾਰਨ ਮਜਾਜਾਂ ਪੱਟੀਆਂ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਕੁੜੀ ਪੱਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਜੇ ਰੋਟੀਆਂ ਪਕਾਵੇ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਪੱਕੀਆਂ ਕੱਚੀਆਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ
close look is brought to you by Applewood Kia. Two locations in Surrey and Langley. Applewood Kia.
Brighton College.
Park Avenue West. In Surrey. ParkAvenueLiving.ca.